Let's look at the concept of this. We have here a class called course, public class course, and I create a course like this, course C1 equals new course, or course C2 equals new course. Let's not worry too much about the course name or any particular attributes or what goes into the constructor, etc. Those are unnecessary details. We have the class section, which we talked about in a previous video. Every section has a semester in which it is offered and the course for which it is a section. So when we create a section, we have to pass the course object for which this section is being offered and the semester in which the section is being offered. And what it does is very simple, takes the course object and puts it in the course field, takes the semester object, which is a string object, and puts it in the semester field. So quite simple constructor. So for every course, there is a method called create section that can be invoked to create a section for it. So for example, c1.createSection fall 2020 creates is supposed to create at least a course section, a section for C1. C1.createSection spring 2021 is supposed to create a section for the same course C1. And we have this course C2. C2.createSection creates a section for C2 for spring 2021. Now notice that we have the same name for course as a parameter and the field. Same deal for a semester, the field name and the parameter name are the same. So we have to write this dot course, this dot semester to signify that these are fields, because we are going to see something very similar now. Here, let's worry about this particular method, create section. I need to create a section. So I have to create a section, a new section, because I'm having this method because it creates a section for a certain semester for this course. But what is the course? So suppose I am calling this for C1, C1.createSection. So it is, I don't have access to C1 here. I cannot write C1. How do I refer to this object on which create section is being invoked? We wrote C1.createSection, right? So we are here because we are working on C1. So how do I refer to C1? It is somewhat like saying, how does one refer to themselves? Like I refer to myself by saying I or mine, etc. Right? My book, my pen, my house, or I am going to the university or whatever, right? Similarly, we can write this, meaning whichever object this is working on right now. If create section is being called on C1, this is C1. And the semester is, of course, semester. We know that. So that is the idea. Right? So we create the section, pass the course object. So when you are creating C1.createSection, this would be C1. And we will be having that particular section refer to C1. When we call C1.createSection for spring 2021, this would be again referring to C1. So this particular section object that you will be creating through this method call would refer to C1. But when we call C2.createSection, the section object that is created would pass the reference to C2. So this would be getting the C2 reference. Notice the use of this here. This is the object reference, just as this is the reference to the section object, right? So it is the same idea. This dot course means the course field of the current object. Similarly, this means the current object. I didn't go through the slides, but you can go through the slides. It has the same idea, but it doesn't have some of this explanation.